What if everything you know about attracting women is quietly working against you? What I'm revealing today contradicts the common advice from friends, family, and every romantic film. It even challenges what your past relationships made you believe. Centuries ago, a famed strategist observed a dangerous pattern in the courts of powerful women, a truth he dared not state plainly. Today, I'll give you 9 precise methods to become profoundly attractive without pleading, chasing, or sacrificing your self-respect. Most men seek validation. You will learn to become the source of it. The final method is the ultimate game changer, but only if you've mastered the first 8. That's why you must watch all the way through. Let's start. Act as if you already have choices. This is a critical error most men make unconsciously. They approach one woman as their only opportunity, and that silent mindset erodes appeal. You must carry yourself as a man with options, even if your current situation feels limited. This isn't about deception. It's a shift in self-perception. You no longer require her validation to feel confident or whole. When you know your own worth, your actions naturally align. Women observe your behavior more than your words, especially under pressure. They sense whether you are assured or anxious, grounded or needy. A man who seems abundant feels powerful. A man who seems scarce feels weak. Her subconscious is constantly evaluating. If he's so readily available, why isn't anyone else pursuing him? If no one competes for him, what does that say? This isn't a calculated thought. It's an instinct, similar to how we view products. An item that's always discounted and ignored feels cheap. Something with a waiting list feels valuable. So, how do you demonstrate this without being aloof? First, don't abandon your important commitments for her early on. If you have gym time, work, or friends planned, keep those plans. Simply say, "I'm busy that day, but I'm free Thursday." This shows your life has its own momentum. Second, don't feel compelled to instantly reply to every text. Not as a tactic, but because you're genuinely occupied. When you respond, be engaged but never apologetic for having a life. Over-apologizing signals guilt for your own priorities. Third, avoid sharing your entire emotional history too soon. Total transparency doesn't build intimacy. It often creates pressure. Mystery sustains interest. Let trust develop gradually. Remember, having options isn't arrogance. A man with true options doesn't boast. He doesn't need to. He's focused on his mission, his growth, and his path. That quiet assurance is what draws people in. Respect her, but never idolize her. Most men blur this line, and it destroys attraction every time. Respect means valuing her as a complete person, listening, appreciating her time and perspective. Idolization is placing her on a pedestal, treating her as flawless, and accepting behavior you reject from others. It silently says, "I'll overlook anything because I like you." That is dangerous. An old strategist warned that those who become sheep will be hunted. In dating, this is absolutely true. When you idolize a woman, you eliminate all tension. Without tension, there is no spark. Women naturally feel less interested in men who worship them because there's no challenge, no intrigue. Consider the scenario. She arrives 30 minutes late without a message. The idolizer says, "It's totally fine, don't worry about it." The respectful man states, "My time is important. Please let me know if you're running late next time." See the difference? One is seeking approval. The other communicates clearly, without anger. Women notice this subconsciously. Respect for your own time and limit signals strength. Also, respect isn't about constant agreement. A man who never disagrees shows no core. Women aren't attracted to men who can't stand their ground. Compliment her character, intellect, or how she handles difficulty, not just her appearance. Say, "I respect how you handle that challenge," more than, "You're so beautiful." Character praise shows you see her depth. Finally, respect doesn't mean tolerating poor treatment. If she acts disrespectfully, address it calmly. "I don't appreciate that. Let's find a better way." If change doesn't come, reconsider your investment. People respond to consequences, not endless patience. In short, always respect, never idolize. Maintain your standards, uphold your boundaries, and keep your energy confident. A man who does this becomes magnetic. Respect communicates a strong mind and a life of value. Qualities that are irresistible. Be unpredictable, not unreliable. This idea is often misinterpreted. Unreliable behavior is volatile and frightening. It pushes people away. It stems from being overly emotional, reactive, or moody without cause. Women sense instability instinctively. It signals danger. Unpredictability, however, is compelling. It's subtle, natural, and fascinating. It maintains curiosity because someone can't guess your next move. Our brains are wired to notice novelty, contrast, and fresh experiences. When someone is entirely predictable, the mind files them away. Once familiar, excitement dwindles. The brain releases dopamine when it encounters the new or unexpected. This chemical drives pleasure, focus, and attraction. If you're completely predictable, your presence becomes ordinary and that response fades. Healthy unpredictability isn't about lying or acting. It flows from a life that is dynamic and authentic. When a man has genuine variety in his focus, energy, and interests, he naturally becomes less predictable. He might be intensely dedicated to a project one day and lighthearted and playful the next. The variation feels real because it comes from who he is, not from a plan to impress. Authentic unpredictability is rooted in a full life, not a strategy. The key is balance. It keeps things exciting without causing anxiety. It allows you to remain engaging and intriguing while still being trustworthy where it matters. It creates a sense of anticipation. People are drawn to it because it activates curiosity and stimulates the mind. In essence, unpredictability is a powerful form of attraction because it keeps the mind engaged. It's about being fully alive and present in your own journey, allowing others to naturally notice your energy. It's a silent signal of strength, independence, and vitality. Have a purpose bigger than her. This is a truth rarely spoken aloud. Many men believe dedicating all their attention and energy to a woman will make her care more. Culture, media, and well-meaning guides repeat this. But reality shows the opposite. When a woman becomes the center of a man's universe, he loses the very quality that fuels desire. Attraction is delicate. It flourishes when a man possesses depth, direction, and autonomy. Women are drawn to purpose, life, and presence, not to desperation or need. Suggesting a woman wants to be your entire world is a mistake. Most women don't wish to be responsible for a man's happiness. They want to join a life that already has structure, energy, and forward motion. They are instinctively attracted to men who live fully, who have aims, and who emit a sense of direction. A man who depends on a woman for his identity or satisfaction communicates neediness, scarcity, and weakness, which instantly dampens appeal. When happiness is entirely tied to another person, it triggers an unconscious warning. The dynamic shifts. He becomes emotionally dependent. His energy becomes predictable, and the natural tension that drives desire vanishes. A woman's mind registers this as a lack of value. Attraction is biological. It responds to strength, stability, and self-sufficiency. Emotional neediness signals incompleteness, undermining the natural chemistry that creates pull. Men who have a mission, a vision, or a goal separate from women are magnetic in an undeniable way. Purpose generates focus, energy, and presence. It communicates competence, self-respect, and strength. When a man moves through the world with direction, he is inherently engaging. Women notice this energy, consciously or not. They feel pulled toward it because it's uncommon. A full life doesn't need external validation. It is complete in itself. A life rich with ambition, curiosity, and personal growth creates an aura that can't be ignored. It projects value effortlessly. Conversely, a life focused on chasing approval or attention feels empty and absorbent, which is unattractive. Energy that is scattered and dependent reduces desire. Energy that is focused and independent ignites it. Truthfully, attraction isn't built by giving someone everything. It's built by being someone who already possesses what they need. Independence, purpose, and authenticity. These are the signals that trigger deep interest and respect. When a man's life is meaningful, he radiates strength. That strength doesn't repel, it invites connection. Women are naturally drawn to it. They desire to be part of a life that is vibrant and purposeful. They don't want to carry the weight of someone else's fulfillment. Ultimately, having something more important than a woman isn't a trick. It's reality. It's about living fully, valuing yourself, and building a life that stands firm. It's about being a man whose energy and purpose create natural attraction, without games or compromise. A purposeful life is magnetic. Anything less goes unnoticed. Be ready to walk away whole. A deeply misunderstood attraction principle is maintaining your wholeness if she decides to leave. Many mistake this for manipulation, coldness, or pride. It's not. It's about emotional resilience and self-sufficiency. Real power comes from stability, self-reliance, and knowing your life doesn't crumble if someone chooses to exit. Walking away whole doesn't mean making threats or creating scenes. It's not about ultimatums. It's about your internal state. Your peace, confidence, and sense of worth are independent of any relationship. When a man fears loss, that fear subtly colors his actions, voice, and energy. Every word or gesture can broadcast neediness or insecurity, even if he tries to mask it. This fear is detectable on a subconscious level, and women sense it intuitively. Fear repels because it signals fragility. Desire and respect demand strength. A man who can walk away calmly shows he has boundaries, self-respect, and an unshakable sense of self. He isn't relying on external validation, and he doesn't chain his joy to another's presence. This doesn't make him unfeeling. It means his emotions are self-governed. He values his own energy and understands no single person can fulfill his entire life. Such a man radiates stability, confidence, and reliability, qualities that naturally attract attention. Independence in this sense is magnetic because it signals value. People are drawn to those who are complete alone. When a man is emotionally anchored and capable of thriving solo, he becomes a source of calm, security, and intrigue. Women instinctively discern the difference between a dependent man and an autonomous one. The dependent man communicates uncertainty and scarcity. The autonomous man communicates strength and abundance. This contrast is primal, rooted in psychology and evolution, driving attraction beyond words. Remaining detached from outcomes doesn't mean shutting off your heart. It means cultivating a state where you can engage fully, invest deeply, and care genuinely without losing yourself. It lets relationships develop without pressure or neediness. It keeps interactions balanced because your focus is on keeping your integrity, not controlling her. A calm, independent man possesses an inner security that can't be shaken. He is grounded and unafraid of change. His energy is steady, and this stability becomes irresistible. Women feel it subconsciously, recognizing he is capable, resilient, and whole. The ability to walk away whole isn't a tactic. It's a reflection of self-mastery. It signals you are complete, confident, and living by your own code. In short, power and attraction comes not from chasing, but from building a life and identity that remains strong and unshaken, regardless of who comes or goes. A man who embodies this energy commands respect, ignites desire, and naturally draws people in, not out of need, but because his life is compelling on its own. Give warmth strategically. One of the most effective ways to sustain attraction is by managing how and when you offer your energy and focus. Warmth is an energy that conveys care, interest, and presence. Yet, not everyone merits the same level of emotional investment. Treating everyone with equal attention and affection devalues it, making your energy seem common or expected. Strategic warmth is about maintaining equilibrium. It reflects self-respect, not manipulation. It signals that you value your own energy and that your attention isn't infinite. When you give warmth to someone who respects you, adds positivity, or shares your values, it deepens connection and encourages mutual effort. It fosters genuine appreciation because your energy is meaningful and rare. Conversely, giving equal warmth to someone who disrespects you, creates drama, or crosses your boundaries sends the opposite message. It lowers your perceived worth and can encourage draining behavior. When energy is given without discernment, it becomes predictable and loses potency. The brain subconsciously notices these patterns. Your selective approach signals strength, self-awareness, and confidence. The subtlety here is crucial. It's not about punishing others or making them feel left out. It's about maintaining your integrity and showing that your care is earned. Energy given freely can be wasted. Energy given thoughtfully builds respect, attraction, and real connection. Strategic warmth also reinforces your boundaries. It communicates what behavior is acceptable without direct confrontation. It naturally filters your relationships, attracting those who value your energy and distancing those who don't. This approach aligns with emotional intelligence, creating healthier, more balanced interactions. Ultimately, giving warmth strategically reflects inner stability. It shows you're in command of your life, emotions, and attention. It amplifies your presence, strengthens bonds, and conserves your energy for those who truly deserve it. A man who masters this communicates value effortlessly. His energy becomes magnetic because it is rare, intentional, and aligned with respect for both himself and others. Hold her to your standards. A crucial element of attraction is having clear standards for who enters your life. Standards aren't about looks or surface traits. They're about values, conduct, and integrity. When a man has real standards, he communicates that his time, energy, and focus are valuable, and this naturally shapes how others treat him. Standards demonstrate self-respect. They create a framework for relationships, clarifying what is and isn't acceptable. They communicate strength without ego. When someone honors these boundaries, it signals alignment. When someone fails to meet them, it reveals their worth to you. A man without standards sends the opposite signal. He becomes easily influenced, manipulated, and taken for granted. In these cases, attraction fades because scarcity and value disappear. Standards focus on deeper qualities. They reflect how a person manages challenges, treats others, and respects your priorities. For instance, do they act kindly when it's inconvenient? Do they keep commitments and honor boundaries? Do they add to your life or create unnecessary tension? These markers separate those worth your energy from those who drain it. Women, consciously or not, respond to these signals. When a man communicates that his attention is earned and his energy is selectively given, it naturally triggers desire. Having standards also bolsters your confidence. When you refuse to accept what clashes with your values, you're less likely to tolerate disrespect or chaos. This doesn't mean being rigid or unkind. It means being aware of what is healthy, valuable, and compatible with your journey. People respond to clarity and consistency. They're drawn to someone who knows their worth and upholds it unwaveringly. The power of standards lies in their subtle influence. They create a natural hierarchy of value in interactions, encouraging others to rise to meet it. They foster respect, consistency, and genuine effort. When someone knows they must earn your attention, it sparks motivation and consideration. Attraction grows because effort feels meaningful. Ultimately, standards aren't about controlling others. They're about guiding your life with integrity, protecting your energy, and aligning relationships with your values. A man who embodies this communicates worth without saying a word. It's evident in his presence, his choices, and how he allows people into his world. Standards make a man magnetic because they reflect self-respect, clarity, and the courage to uphold his own boundaries. Don't rush to resolve every disagreement. Many men mistakenly try to fix every conflict instantly. They dread tension, fear disapproval, and crave immediate harmony. This urgency often stems from insecurity and emotional dependency. Weaker men feel discomfort as a threat, so they move quickly to eliminate it. But this approach usually reduces respect and weakens attraction because it signals neediness. Stronger men handle conflict differently. They understand tension is natural, and not every issue demands an instant solution. By allowing space, they give both people time to reflect, calm emotions, and gain perspective. Space encourages clarity. It lets feelings settle and understanding to develop. When a man resists chasing immediate resolution, he communicates patience, confidence, and emotional steadiness. This method often leads to better results. With space, a woman can reflect on her actions, recognize boundaries, and consider his viewpoint. The outcome is often a deeper appreciation for his composure and leadership. Desire and respect increase because she sees he is stable, controlled, and self-reliant. The relationship's energy stays balanced, and the bond strengthens naturally. Not rushing to fix every conflict isn't about being cold. It's about valuing your own emotional state and keeping your integrity. It signals your worth isn't tied to instant approval or temporary peace. A man who embodies his calm patience becomes magnetic because his presence communicates strength, clarity, and emotional intelligence without having to prove it. Treat her as you treat yourself. This is the most powerful relationship principle of all. Women don't fall in love merely with how a man treats them. What forges deep attraction is how a man treats himself while treating her with respect. Self-respect, personal boundaries, and your own standard are magnetic because they show you value your life and energy above all else. When a man honors his needs, maintains his dignity, and doesn't compromise his principles, it sends a potent signal. A woman senses it immediately. It communicates strength, stability, and authenticity. She sees he is grounded, complete, and not dependent on her validation for his worth. This creates an energy that is irresistible because it is rare and confident. Standard for yourself, not just for her. Drive genuine respect and desire. If a man abandons his values, tolerates disrespect, or sacrifices integrity for approval, it lessens attraction. Conversely, a man who treats himself with care, upholds personal boundaries, and holds his life in high regard naturally commands attention and admiration. Mastery over oneself is mastery over one's life. A man who governs his thoughts, emotions, and actions possesses a powerful presence. He doesn't react from fear, need, or insecurity. Instead, he engages from confidence and purpose. This energy communicates abundance, freedom, and authenticity. Women are drawn not just to how he treats them, but to how he carries himself independent of anyone's influence. In essence, self-respect is the foundation of all attraction. A man who treats himself with integrity while treating others well creates an undeniable pull. His energy becomes scarce, his presence commanding, and his life compelling. Attraction isn't built through charm alone. It's built through how a man honors himself and his own standards while engaging with the world. The man who controls his own mind controls his destiny. Everything else follows. Final word. This knowledge holds power. You can use it to manipulate or to improve. Use it to build yourself first. Become someone you truly respect. When you do, these behaviors won't feel like techniques. They'll be natural. If this helped you, hit like, subscribe to Winds of Thought, and stay tuned. Next, we'll cover the subtle signs a woman shows when she's losing respect for a man, and how to turn it around before it's too late. Remember, the man who controls his own mind controls his destiny. Everything else follows.